All right. Looks like we have a good number of people. I'm going ahead and let our council member for Ward 2 and Vice Mayor Andre Gonzalez kick us off, and then we'll get into it if he's ready.
I'm ready. Thank you, Cecilia, and welcome everyone to the Downtown Economic Opportunity Area Business Improvement and Expansion Grant Program workshop. This program is an exciting program for the city of Bakersfield. We know as a city and certainly as the city council that the key ingredient to downtown revitalization and the continued movement forward for our downtown and our urban core is the downtown business owners and property owners. You all are the ones who are making things happen in our downtown. You're the ones who have initiated so much movement forward for downtown Bakersfield, so much excitement, and have invested so many resources and time and energy and real capital to make our downtown hum and vibrant. And so I want to thank you for all this and all of your effort over the years. This program is a way for the city to partner and to really help invest in specific intangible ways. This opportunity has already funded many projects well over $1 million worth of investments that the city has made in order to help small businesses and property owners make improvements to really revitalize their part of downtown Bakersfield. And so today is a way for us to continue to share with you the ins and outs and logistics of the program. And I want to commend Monica and Cecilia for their diligent effort. These are the two individuals in City Hall who actually work with applicants day to day and provide that technical assistance, and then ultimately process the applications as they make their way to the city council. So I want to thank them for all of their work and hard work. And I just want to thank all of you for spending time today on this program and learning more about it, and want to invite you to be a partner and to reach out to me directly if there's anything that I can do to help support you in your endeavors. But with that, I just want to wish you all the best and look forward to this workshop today along with you all.
Great, thank you. Well, we'll go ahead and get started in the details. So yeah, we're here to talk about our new downtown economic opportunity. We're dubbing this the competitive process, but we're dubbing it the Business Improvement Expansion Grant Program. But it's very similar to the current EOA program that a lot of you are familiar with, but just some nuances and some differences in how we're accepting applications going forward. So I'll go to the next slide. Here we go. First, I just wanted to throw out who we are. Again, Cecilia Grego, Principal Planner with the Economic Community Development Department, and Monica Medvey as a staff planner with our department, who's our lead on this program. So, and here's where we're at, and where you can reach both of us through this email and also our phone number. But this will be available again, but you can also get this on our website, which we will talk about as well. First, a little bit about this webinar. Only the panelists have audio and video. If you have any questions, we have activated the Q&A feature. So as we go through everything, please go ahead and start entering your questions. We may not go answer them right away, but we definitely will be checking back towards the end and circling back. So if a question pops in your head as we're going through all this information, and there is quite a bit, please start entering your questions and we will definitely get to it. If not during the webinar, then definitely at the end. So to access that, you see in all the Zoom icons, wherever they are on your screen, sometimes at the bottom, sometimes at the top, you just hit Q&A and you can start entering your questions. And like I did, this session is being recorded. So if anybody happens to miss this, We'll be uploading it on the city's YouTube page and doing a link on our website so you can watch it again, or others who may have missed it. Again, this is our, downtown EOA grants. It's going to be a competitive grant program for both property and business owners in the downtown EOA area. So we'll be going over that. The city has allocated $400,000 in funding for this downtown EOA program. So after we kind of go over the kind of broad overview of the program, we'll talk about the application process specifically. And then if you are awarded a grant, we'll talk about the grant agreement and reimbursements process, and then we'll have time for Q&A at the end. So just to give, I'll just give a broad overview, and then I'll kind of kick it over to Monica, who will start kind of going over more of the details. Basically, the EOA was adopted with the Economic Opportunity Plan, which was adopted by council, that uses taxpayer dollars to promote economic growth within specific geographic areas. And downtown was one of those, one of 7 areas that council identified to, provide local investment and to promote that economic growth. So I will go to the next slide and then switch it over to Monica, who will start digging into the weeds on the program.
Okay, so this is a broad overview of the program for downtown. Applications are due, since this is a competitive process, on October 20th before 5 p.m. That is a deadline, but it's not a rush. It's better to submit a complete application because this is not first come, first serve. This is a competitive process, so you want to ensure that your application is complete. You can email us here at eoa@bakersfieldcity.us or come down to the office at 1600 Truxton. We're on the 3rd floor. Here's the application timeline. You do want to read the notice of funding availability that has all of our program guidelines and details. We are offering technical assistance with this webinar and in the office. It's best to make an appointment. We're happy to make you an appointment so we can devote that time to you. We can also schedule a phone appointment, or we are doing office hours walk-in from 2 to 4 on Wednesdays until the application is due. We will be reviewing and scoring after that due date and recommending the higher scoring applications to be considered by City Council, and the selected grants would be funded. This is that notice of funding availability, the NOFA that I referenced. It is available on our website, and there's a screenshot of it here. Again, I mentioned the technical assistance hours every Wednesday from 2 to 4, or by appointment. This is an example of some eligible improvements, site improvements. We can help with facade work. Some applicants have done painting, awnings, doors, windows, lighting. We also are interested in site enhancements like the sidewalk or parking lot. Tenant improvements would be in publicly accessible areas, maybe some tables, chairs. Kind of depends on what your business is and what kind of access the public has. And we have this in more detail in the NOFA. We're also supporting new and expanded businesses for property acquisition costs or related real estate fees. We can assist with rental or lease reimbursement for the first year and other new business costs such as permit fees, moving costs, new furniture or equipment, and new hire payroll. But you must take ownership of the new location or enter at a minimum a 3-year lease. And this does require job creation, which is detailed in the NOFA and here. Example of ineligible projects would be those listed here. It's not for any routine maintenance or repair or non-visible permanent improvements. And other ineligible costs include those specifically performed before an approved agreement is in place. Those are considered pre-award costs, so we cannot assist with that. And any administrative, extermination, working capital, those types of costs are also ineligible. Program requirements to qualify for this program, you must be a legal business located within the downtown EOA. If you're unsure what EOA you are located in, we'd be happy to check for you. You must have an active city business license. You can be for-profit or tax exempt. Again, as we mentioned, we do need a minimum 3-year lease or owners of the property to apply. And you can't have any active investigations or violations with city codes. And those at the bottom, we have listed types of businesses that are ineligible for funding. So before you submit an application, you want to make sure you have at least 3 contractor estimates. If you have different types of work, as for example, exterior painting, as well as like a roofing upgrade, ideally you'd have 3 estimates for the roof and 3 estimates for the painting as well. So you would need 3 contractor estimates as part of your application at a minimum. That contractor must have a valid state contractor's license and city business license and comply with all aspects of the California Labor Code, including those listed there. And we recommend that you consult with city planning, building, and public works to ensure that all of your proposed improvements will be up to city code. Additionally, projects over $25,000 in their entirety are subject to California prevailing wage requirements. This is explained in detail in the NOFA and our FAQs available on our website. Those that are awarded projects over $25,000 are considered an awarding body and must register their project and follow all prevailing wage laws. Any public works project, including construction, alteration, demolition, installation, maintenance, or repair that is paid with public tax dollars, such as this program, is subject to prevailing wage. If your project is over $30,000, there are also apprenticeship requirements, and you must ensure you're using prevailing wage registered contractors. Another important note is this includes the entire project cost, this $25,000 threshold, not just the amount of the grant. So it is applicable to the entire project cost, no matter what the amount of grant you're getting, if it reaches that $25,000.
All right, thank you, Monica. Again, we highly encourage you to review that NOFA. This kind of gave you a very broad overview, but all the details are in that document as far as eligible costs and activities, the prevailing wage requirements. Again, use those office hours, reach out to us. We want to make sure you have a competitive and successful application. So please take advantage and come speak to us. But I just wanted to go, we also included in the application, it's also on our website, but it is a separate link in the application, but we called it the application checklist. And this really will help you make sure once you complete application, okay, do I have everything? Is everything attached? Do I have the estimates? Do all my contractors have licenses? I mean, these are things you just kind of need to be sure of. And so this kind of checklist kind of helps you with those details, and it kind of helps you, okay, I make sure this is true. So I have a version here that we'll go through, but again, there's also a version on our website. So first, are all project activities and costs eligible for the program per what's listed in the NOFA? The NOFA does have a very detailed description. Is your business license currently active? I know some of you may, just to make sure, it's usually a pretty quick call to our finance department. Or we can also check it on our end too. Either or, but it's usually pretty fast. And usually you can get it, if you don't have it, you need it updated, usually you can get it that day, or it's pretty simple. Are you an owner of the property your business locating? If you are, we do need to make sure we have proof of that ownership, usually just a copy of your deed or something that shows you have ownership. Or if you don't have ownership, make sure the owner, if you are a tenant, making sure there is a spot on the application where the owner does sign and authorizes the property improvements that you're doing. We just want to make sure that everything is okay before you proceed. Again, if you are a tenant of the building, make sure it's at least a 3-year lease that you're in, and that needs to be attached to the application. You need to make sure you haven't started on any of the improvements. That's mainly because we need to make sure all of these things are addressed and taken care of. If you get started and we find out later it's not, it wasn't permitted work, with a grant can't fund it, or if the contractor wasn't licensed, again, the grant can't. So mainly we say don't get started until you have approved grant agreement, mainly because of these things, checking prevailing wage, making sure all of those things were done. Again, do you have at least 3 estimates / bids from your project? Does your contractor perform the work have a valid California contractor's license? Another thing on the checklist, again, if it's over 25,000, does your contractor estimates include those prevailing wages? Is the contractor registered with DIR? If it's a prevailing wage project, is the project registered at DIR? And we have links to all those registered. It's usually a pretty quick online process. And we have links to all of those locations on our website, or in the NOFA too, there's links as well. Do the contractors perform the work have an active city business license? We've run into this quite a few times in some of our EOA projects. Have you contacted city planning, building, or public works department? Are permits required? Sometimes if you're doing something like fencing or a sign, sometimes you need an encroachment permit if it's going over a public sidewalk, things like that. Building, sometimes you may not think a building permit is required, but it's always, better. Anything really structural, even if it's a large window where you're changing out the frame, sometimes something easy, as simple as that, does require a building permit when the window really is a part of the wall and holds up the structure. So things like that, it's always better to double check and make sure. We also require you to attach your form W-9. We also want you to submit existing photos, current conditions, like kind of the before, what it'll look before, and then also improve any plans, site plans, or design drawings, anything that show what your project will look like after. The impact that really helps show us, at least visibly, what you have planned, how impactful that might be. All right, so once we go through the checklist and we get all the applications after that date, we'll be going through this criteria to score each application. First criteria is your application must be complete. Any incomplete applications will not be considered for funding. That's number 1. Other ones are really just based on the EOA plan and city council goals, kind of what the council member said at the beginning. We want to see a vibrant, active downtown. So when you have a project that the top one is if you have a vacant building or just an underutilized structure that's been sitting vacant for a long time, and you want, any business that just wants to come in, restore the tax base, create a new revitalized use, address maybe a blighted influence, maybe there's just been wood over the windows for ever, and it's just a blight on the community. Any project that does that brings a new use will get a high score here. If it's your new business, an expanding business, and you're creating new jobs, another opportunity for scoring. We're also just going to look over the overall quality of the proposed project. What's the impact to the community? What's the consistency with goals and objectives of the EOA plan? Which you can see on the website, on the EOA website, until you can upload that plan as well. We also the city has also done a downtown vision plan and a downtown streetscape plan, and there's definitely elements of those that create a walkable environment. If you are doing a project and you want to help implement and include some of those walkable features, or do some of those maybe sidewalk upgrades, that go along with those plans. Again, you can get points there. There's also in our zoning code, we have this public benefit feature, and this is something like public art or doing like some sort of plaza that the public can enjoy. I mean, these are kind of what we call various, design features that really, again, accessible to the public, something the public can enjoy and really create a vibrant downtown. And there's a list of those. It is a link in the NOFA that takes you direct to that code, so you can see the type of elements that could bring. Another new thing we're adding, because of city council goals to encourage more housing, we are allowing high density, how, let's say you're doing a mixed use with maybe commercial or high density housing on top, that would be an allowable project we can support with this funding, just because it goes along again with those vision plan, city council goals to create, a 24/7 downtown where people can live, work, play. So that's just kind of what's one new aspect to this specific downtown competitive process. So once you are, your application is evaluated, and then you're notified that you are being recommended for funding, that's the first step. So basically you scored high enough, so staff will be recommending your grant to city council for consideration. So to do that, you need to sign a grant agreement. So the staff will send you a draft that you can review and sign and let us know if you have any questions. But it basically, it's a legal document which outlines the requirements of the grant and the terms and conditions of the grant funding. So basically, it says you will do, usually it has your scope of work, what you agreed to fund with the grant funding, and then it outlines, the process of the reimbursement process and all the other prevailing wage, anything else that may be a condition of the grant funding. So then you are once we get a signed agreement, it'll be sent to a city council for consideration, and then we'll notify you when that date and time will be once we get that signed agreement. And then again, we just want to emphasize again that any activities that the grant is funding cannot be started before you have an approved grant agreement. So once it gets approved by council, we will notify you the next day and say, hey, your project was approved, here's your notice to proceed, and you can get going, get started on your project. Again, this kind of says the same thing. We'll notify you, and then and it will say this in your agreement, you'll have about 6 months to execute your project. You are allowed, we understand sometimes there are delays. We've seen it where, materials, especially in this crazy world we're in, sometimes materials are delayed, those kind of things. You are allowed to grant up at our department level to grant 2 90-day extensions. We just need to be let you know, say, hey, we need some more time. Our contractor is waiting on this. Just let us know and we'll grant you those extensions. So once you have your grant agreement, you get started. This is where we start the reimbursement process. So again, you'll get that notice to proceed, then staff will send you this reimbursement progress report form. So each time let's say you don't have to wait till the project is complete. You can kind of ask for things as they get done. So let's say you have let's say you have a roofing improvement and that's done first, and you want to go ahead, oh, we've done this, our contractor's been paid. You can just submit that reimbursement form with the progress report, say, hey, and in there, we just want to know what you completed, what's been done, and then you attach to that your proof of costs and invoices that are attached to that. So again, as you get projects done, you submit this form and progress report, and then city staff will review, make sure the costs have been incurred. We want to see that proof of payment. Make sure it was an eligible cost, and we also confirm code compliance. We check with our billing department to make sure, okay, yeah, permits are pulled, they're good. And usually, and then once we verify that, we submit it to finance, and usually it takes roughly 30 days. Usually they can turn around in 2 to 3 weeks. and then you will get a check in the mail. This is what that reimbursement form looks like. At least the first page is about 3 pages. It's pretty simple. Again, you must attach, once you submit this form, you fill it out, you know, what your grant award was, what you're requesting, you know, whatever amount that is within the grant award, you sign it. And then the other pages just has a list of those costs and what they are, and some other information that we ask. And then there's a section where you talk about your progress that you've been made. So again, you must attach all receipts, estimates, invoices of all the eligible costs. And then you must also attach proof of payment, which can include copies of checks, bank statements, accounting ledgers. Again, counting numbers and other information, we don't need to know that. Those can be redacted. But we just need to know that, you know, it's an eligible cost and we paid for it. So again, you submit progress report. And then you just, you know, make those. If you do have let's say we've run this into a few times. Let's say you have any requests for changes, like he's like, oh, you know, this, I've decided not to do this portion of it. I decided to do that. You must submit to that request in writing. Let us know what you want to change. I mean, if it's something minor, simple, and if it's in the spirit of what council approved, staff will approve it. But if it's something that's definitely more broad and not kind of in line, we may have to take that change back to city council for reapproval. So it just depends on the scope of the requested change. If it's just a minor thing, usually we can do those. We'll just approve those at our level and move on. It just depends how different it is to what council approved. And then once you, your final payment request kind of works as your final progress report. By there, we want to see a pretty strong narrative of what you've done. We want to see some, you know, those after pictures. Say, hey, you know, here's what we did. You know, great pictures of what you accomplished with the grant funding. Again, including all those final receipts, invoices. You know, if it's that business expansion, there is a section in that report where you report those jobs that were created, or any other. This is where you describe any other objectives or achievements you achieved by completing this project. So again, technical assistance, email, or you can call us, or we have established office hours for this specific application process. So we did it every Wednesday from 2 to 4. All the way through October 18th, which would be the last Wednesday before the application is due. Or you can welcome to call and schedule an appointment. I think Monica already has 3 or 4 in her calendar already. So I know many of you have been very proactive, which is great. Again, you know, we have standard office hours, so those appointments would need to be between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday. I think this is my last slide. Okay, and my last slide is wanting to show, you know, everything we went over today. You can find on our program on the EOA program website at the downtown. The new downtown portion is right at the top. So there's a link to the EOA plan right at the top too, if you want to go to that. But you basically go to bakersfieldcity.us. You go to under departments to economic and community development. Under there, you go under economic development, and then under there, you go to economic opportunity area programs. And that will take you to this page, and you'll see that NOFA, notice of funding availability. You can see a map of the downtown EOA. You'll see a grant application that's fillable online. And there's that application checklist that I went over today too. And we also, underneath the description about this webinar, we have a sample grant application that kind of shows you, you know, the kind of level of detail and information that we need and included just to help, as it provides another guide for this. So, so basically that's it. Let me see if we have any questions. Oh, first question. Is there a maximum dollar amount each business can receive? There isn't technically a maximum. I mean, but obviously the more you ask for, that we expect more of a bigger impact, especially on the community. You know, what's the public benefit? There is some trigger thresholds. If you ask for any amount over 100,000, it does require a public hearing before city council, which gives, basically it says, and we also have to do a notice to that, you know, we have to notice on our website that this business is getting this, you know, economic subsidy, and here's what the city's doing. So we do have to notify that publicly and provide that public hearing, which gives the public a chance to come talk about whether they support this grant for this project. So that's really the main trigger. I mean, but definitely I would say anything over 100,000, it needs to be, I mean, it better show, again, do a higher score on some of those things I mentioned about reuse of a building, or a site that's been vacant, or a site that's been, you know, we definitely want to see those higher scoring projects, for those ones that really provide a strong maybe a public benefit feature or something. It definitely needs to have something like that, and really, like I said, be impactful. And because again, it's ultimately, even though staff will score and recommend, it will be council's ultimate decision to decide. Another question, how does it work if you're a business that moved to downtown to expand its business, if you are renting and provided more employment? Well, definitely if you move to downtown, yeah, I mean, we definitely want to support those businesses. Obviously, we know new businesses, especially if you're moving into like an older structure that needs a lot of those upgrades. This is exactly what this program was created for. If you do ask for those vision expansion costs, those ones that Monica listed, those are the ones that trigger that job creation requirement. So you just need to make sure, I mean, if you ask the grants to fund any of those activities, just make sure you will need to be, I mean, we do offer this grant for tenants, for renters. You just need to make sure your property owner just signs off and say, okay, I'm good, that they can do whatever. I mean, we haven't really seen any problems. Most property owners, oh yes, improve my property, I'd love that. So we haven't really seen any problems. Usually there's a spot on the application for your property owner to sign off. And again, if you're a tenant, we just want to see that 3-year lease at a minimum. Can a business be eligible for a grant if they have received another grant? Yeah, we're not limiting. If you received another grant, we're offering this to all downtown businesses, kind of treating it, if you already got an EOA grant. I mean, we'll know that, and we'll probably definitely, when we present this to council, we'll share that, hey, this business received an EOA grant for this. So it'll probably be a consideration. But if you want to do more, excuse me, again, it'll be, you know, it'll be just take in mind your past grant will be taken into consideration. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Who counts for new employees under this? I would just say any new hires. Like if you're expanding, we assume you'll have to hire new, so just anybody hired within that year.
Full time.
Yeah, full time. So we would just need to know when the form asks for their hire date and what their wage are and their hours they work. Another question. Does the applicant have to own the property? No. As of the applicant, well, no, because you can actually ask for, no, it doesn't, you don't have to own the property, but I would definitely kind of, you know, be open about that. Say you're in escrow, we plan to close on this day. Just kind of make sure you tell your story, because you actually can use the grant to purchase property too. That is one of the eligible activities. So if you want to, you know, definitely, if you're going to use that, that is a business expansion. I believe that's a job create. Is that a job creation one, Monica? I believe it is.
Yes.
That is a job creation activity. So we definitely want to, you know, we'll know what once you purchase the property, we'll definitely need to know what you plan to do there, you know, who's going to work there, and we'll need that information. But that happens after you get the grant award. But in the application, at least we want to know what's coming. You don't have to prove that you've hired yet, or that you know, once you can do the purchase and ask for the money later, but yeah, I hope I'm clear.
Yeah, I can work on this next question. Does landscaping require contractors? If so, do we need 3 bids? Yes, landscaping typically requires contractors, and it would need 3 bids for this competitive process. You still have discretion over which landscaper you'd like to use, but we need those bids for comparison.
Unless, I would say, if it's something small, like you're just replacing flowers in a flower bed that's existing, I mean, obviously it's something probably you can do yourself. But you just need to kind of explain your story and say, hey, I'm thinking we're landscaping, maybe more hardscaping, where you would need a contractor to do maybe the water, you know, the irrigation and the thing. But if you're just kind of replacing your plants and trees into existing, you know, beds, I mean, obviously you probably may not need a contractor for that, but you could just but you can, you know, just explain that. Obviously it's just if it's a more contractor related activity where there's actual construction. Can we get your contact and a copy? Yes, the webinar is being recorded and a copy will be posted on our website. This website that's in front of you right now, that information about the process webinars will be updated. Instead of giving you the link to Zoom, it's going to change to a link to the city's YouTube page, which will show this recording of this webinar. So you can, and all our contact info is on this website. It should be. If not, it's, you know, eoa@bakersfieldcity.us, or our main department number. It may not be directly on this page, but it's definitely on our department's main page. But we'll definitely make sure it's on there. Oh, it's on there. There's numbers there, but I'll update it to make sure both our contact information is there. I don't see any other questions. I hope I answered. Oh wait, here's another one popped up. Are new hires those that hired after the IG has been accepted? I would say after the grant agreement was approved. So once the application's been recommended for funding. But honestly, you know, we really just says within that first year. So let's say you already got started, you already started hiring people. I would say once you have a business established state, I would say any new hires within that first year. So even if it happened, I'd say maybe a little before, I'd be okay with that, because I'm not too worried about that, because that's not something we have to check building permits and stuff like that. It's more just, you know, cause of doing business, because I think we did in our current EOA program, we do, as long as it's within that first year of your new business being started, we'll cover that payroll cost. So we just need to know when that person was hired, you know, relative to your business start date. You know, you do have to be a, you know, kind of a new business within the last year also. But yeah, because that's not a construction activity, that's why we kind of separate those out, those business kind of expansion things, because the reason we separate out is because they're not a construction activity that would trigger permits or prevailing wage or anything. They're just activities will fund beyond that. So that's why they're treated a little differently. So yeah. Here's another question. I'm a licensed contractor, I'll be doing the improvements myself, much less than hiring others. I mean, we have allowed that, but we just, again, we'll be checking that you yourself will be, you just need to kind of tell that story, that you yourself will be doing the work, but we'll need to make sure that you're licensed. if you do any, subcontractor hires, those need to be licensed. So we have allowed that because we understand some of our businesses are contractors themselves. So again, that's just kind of something, I understand. So we'll consider that.
We still need additional estimates for comparison. And there are prevailing wage, again, over that 25,000. If you're electing to do that work and are approved for that, you'd have to be registered to perform that at prevailing wage if it is required for that project.
All right. I think I don't have any more questions. Is there any others that people have? I'll give it a few minutes to see if anybody has any. Oh, here's one. Would all cosmetic improvements on a tenant basis done by the business owner be covered under relocation? No, no, that's definitely a site improvement activity. I mean, yeah, that's definitely a site improvement. I would say more so than a business relocation one, because relocation really the only activities, like we let you purchase the equipment, like chairs, tables, but there can't be any labor. All the kind of ones that require labor are listed under the first category, the site improvement portions. So those don't, luckily those don't require job creation at all. They're just, the public benefit on that are just doing the improvements. So it's nice for the public to enjoy your business and enjoy the enhancements that you've done. I mean, that's the public benefit for those. So even if it's whether it's a tenant site improvement or a facade improvement. Any other questions? Again, you're welcome to email us or call us too. If something pops in your head later. Oh, here's one. Do you offer help to find new business location in your area? I have space for lease at my property. I would like to find a tenant. I not in this program, but we have this great site selector tool that I will send you the link, and you can register and advertise your site on the city's website for any businesses looking for a new location. I'll just do a shameless plug on that right now. If you go to the same link, go to economic development, you'll notice on there it says there's a link that says, I don't know if it's on our homepage or under economic development. So under one of the, I think it's on our homepage, and it says pick Bakersfield. So, sorry, not the city's homepage, the economic community development's homepage. So you go to department, go to economic community development, and then on the navigation side, you'll see this link called Pick Bakersfield. And on there is this great site selector tool where people looking for locations, either lease, vacant land, or even to buy a property, you can actually log in and create an account and advertise spaces on that website for people looking for. So I will send you that link so you can register. I have several brokers and other various people in town that advertise sites on that website when they have a site that vacant. So I will send that to you, I think it's Mr. English. So if you can email me your email, and I will send you that link. My email is cgriego CGRIEGO@bakersfieldcity.us. So if anybody else has space to lease, you're welcome to. I'll share it. Oh, and somebody did a link. Oh, a mapping link. Where does that go to? I'm not sure. Okay, I see your. All right, somebody's. Let me go ahead and copy your email for advertising listings. Okay. Mr. Mendez. He already included his email, so I can send him that link. Yeah, we always, because they get lots of calls from business say, hey, we're looking for a site. So I always direct them there. It's a great tool. You can also do market research. I'll do another shameless plug. We also have this on right near the site selector too. We also have this Size Up Bakersfield, and that's just really geared towards small business. Helps you do research on future customers and other market related research. Helps you look at your labor force. It really, again, is a great tool, specifically geared for small businesses to help them answer various questions about, also looks at potential suppliers, helps you look at competition. It really is a great tool. It's called Size Up Bakersfield, and you can also access that through our department website.
I put some links in the chat too.
Okay. Well, I don't think they can see the chat. They might not. Sorry. I don't know if I engaged the chat. I was just going to use the Q&A. Brokers.com. Okay. Any other? I think there's one more question that came up. Oh, another email. Okay. I'll get your email down too. All right. Any other? Oh, looks like another one maybe popped up. Okay. Do you have a link for? Oh, another person. God, you guys are all busy. All right. Yes. I don't have. I will email you the link since I don't have the chat feature working. Sorry. So if everybody else wants to send your emails, I'll write them down too. All right, anybody else have questions on the program? Oh, here's one. Oh, everybody's sending emails. All right.
I'm getting the emails too.
Okay. All right. All right, we're just writing down emails now. Anybody else have any questions? If you don't hear from us too, we'll try to, definitely getting them all down. But if you don't have any, if you don't hear from us, you can always, email us at the EOA email too, and we'll follow up. We'll do the links to both the site selector tool and Size Up as well. And I think if on the EOA page, if you scroll down towards the bottom, I do believe I have a link to the Size Up tool at the bottom of that for all our EOA programs, because we have 3 right now. There's this one, our standard one, and then we have our dumpster. If anybody needs dumpster locks, I'll do another shameless plug. We have a great dumpster lock. You know, you don't know money changes hands. You just apply. It just gets reviewed by our solid waste department. If they, you know, it has to be a 3-yard dumpster. If you get approved, then you just get a metal lid and a dumpster lock. And it's a great deterrent for dumpster divers and helps keep your dumpster area clean. So anybody interested in one of those, again, our EOA site has links to that application as well. Any more questions? We'll just hang out for a few more minutes. I want to thank everybody who's attended, and hopefully we'll see you in our office hours or reaching out to us, and help you get a successful application submitted. All right. Oh, you missed most of the webinar meeting. Yes. Sorry you had problems signing in. Yes, the webinar was recorded and it will be posted on our website, and we will be sending that out. I don't know. Yes, it'll be on our website. So just check our website in a few days. It's at, bakersfieldcity.us. Go to departments, go to economic community development, then under economic development, go to EOA, economic opportunity area programs. Under there, and I have that website up right now. There will be a link, and hopefully by Friday. Usually they're pretty fast, because the recording pretty much is instantaneous, and then we just have to upload it to the city's YouTube page. And once I get that link, I will add it to our web page, hopefully by Friday. Any other questions? Well, we'll hang out probably for another 5 minutes or so, because we had this webinar going till 4. Just to, if anybody has any questions. Okay. Okay, you're welcome. People saying thank you. Oh, what are some of the topics that were discussed? Okay, real quick. We basically just went over the application process and just, then the nuances of this unique program. So, I mean, just I highly encourage you to schedule an appointment. You can contact us at EOA at bakersfieldcity.us and schedule appointment. We'll be happy to go over. I'll also post, a PDF version of this PowerPoint that was here. We'll have a recording, and we went over kind of what's in the NOFA and then the application, and then the grant reimbursement process is what we kind of went over. So I'm sorry that you missed it, but again, this was recorded so you can watch it. And then again, I highly encourage you to attend office hours. Oh, here's a question. If the applicant is a landlord, how does the business license part apply? Yeah, it technically wouldn't. I mean, if you just have an empty space and there's technically no business. We have done a couple of those. Unless you have like I mean, yeah, I guess technically if you're not, let's say you have a real estate business and that's outside of downtown and you just, so yeah, but we definitely, we have done a couple of those. We just need to know, what kind of lease space it is, what business do you hope to get there, what improvement, I mean, we've done a couple of those where they had just been mainly lease spaces. A lot of them did have, existing tenants in there and they were able to use those businesses as, as the ones we were supporting. So, I mean, again, it just kind of depends on, yeah, I mean, that's something we can talk on one-on-one, I think, to talk how about to maximize that kind of project for your application and what, we definitely, because we have done a couple just, worked with some that were just landlords and worked on improving their existing spaces and, but we definitely would want to see an end successful business going into those spaces at the end, hopefully. I think we did one on, where was it, on California Avenue? I can't. There's a couple. Any other questions that pop in people's minds or that about? Oh, here's more. Sounds good. Oh, thank you. See, here's somebody's hoping we get a ton of applications so we have a vibrant downtown. I agree. I agree. Take advantage.
I see another question asking if the regular EOA program is ongoing. It is for the other 6 EOA areas. Those applications are ongoing. If you need help determining what area you're in, just give us a call or send us an email and we'd be happy to check for you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, downtown is not being part of the regular EOA program anymore. It's just going to be this one. But the other 6 areas still have, the kind of the first come, first serve approach that we've been doing. So, but yeah, and each EOA has its own budget, its own funding sort. So we track each one separately. Oh, you're welcome. Appreciate everybody being here. All right, we got 1 minute left and then I'm cutting us off. All right, it's 4 o'clock. I hear the church bells behind me. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you, council member. Um, and yeah, so again, reach out to us. Oh, thank you. Again, please take advantage of this opportunity. We want to see, like all of you, we want to see, customers in your doors. We want to see active people just enjoying downtown. We want to see a successful business. So thank you. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.